Welcome, everybody. This is Kogus. I'm back from the short sabbatical before the launch of Star Wars: The Old Republic Legacy of the Sith 7.0, coming at you with the first video. It's been a few days since the expansion has launched, and I really am enjoying Manan, enjoying the wet, cold, atmospheric feel of this area. I actually haven't even finished the story on Manan, but I'm going to come at you with the skill tree for the Vengeance Juggernaut. Remember, guys, this is still very early in the expansion, very early in what's going on, so everything may not stay. There might be some other ways to go, but I wanted to come at you and let you know what my thoughts are on the skill tree. We got passives here on the right side. Big apologies to Mr. Stay Alive, where I came into his stream, I'm like, they don't show passives. I was super wrong. I'm sorry, Mr. Stay Alive. Really awesome guy. Make sure you guys go check him out. Stay Alive _7 at twitch.tv. Okay, so diving into it. All right, so here we have Blood Rage, which ruptures your bleed on all targets within 10 meters of you, dealing a portion of their damage and generating 6 rage. We have Blood Rage replacing our Enrage, so you actually have to re-put Blood Rage in your skill tree. And we got Shatter at level 15. Level 23, we have some choices here. We have deep Cuts. While Shatter is on a target, the crit chance of all your bleed attacks on that target increase by 10%. It's not bad. Major Fracture increases the initial damage of Shatter by 50% and reduces its cooldown by 2 seconds. I like that. I like the fact that one of our big hits has a cooldown reduction of 2 seconds. And then we have a Shatter Burst. Killing a target with a direct bleed damage while affected by Shatter causes it to explode, hitting nearby targets. Excellent. Next up, we have Projected Scream. Force Scream does damage to additional enemies in a cone in front and slows them by 50% for 6 seconds. So we don't have a Chilling Scream, but we have a Projected Scream now. They got rid of our Chilling Scream and we replace it with this. I really enjoyed Chilling Scream because I could just spam that. This, I have to have a target to hit. So I can't just pull somebody out of stealth with this. I have to actually have a target. Next, we have Overwhelming Slashes. Ravage immobilizes the target for 3 seconds and generates 1 rage. So that's a utility we've seen before. And then we have Sweeping Slash. Slashes up to 8 enemies within 5 meters in front of you for weapon damage and attacks with both weapons if dual wielding. So that's going to be kind of pertaining to Marauders and Juggernauts. All right. And then our passives, I don't know if I touched those. That was Draining Scream, which is a Shatter, finishes the active cooldown on Ravage and generates 3 rage. Force Scream causes the target to bleed for X amount of internal damage over 6 seconds. And then we have our Xian Form, which is our complete passive. So, yeah, it's just there. Utilize an aggressive lightsaber form, aggressive, increasing all damage dealt by 6%, melee damage by additional 5%, damage reduction by 5%, and movement speed by 15%. All attacks consume rage, will refund 1 rage when used. Excellent. Replaces Sicho form. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Then at 35, we have Bloodbath. Smash and Vengeful Slam spread your bleed effects to all targets they damage. If at least one of the targets is already affected by your bleeds. In addition, Sweeping Slash deals 25% more damage to bleeding targets. So the 25% extra damage is kind of there as a passive if you take it. If you don't, it's not there. All right, then we have Impale. Probably our biggest hitting hit. Let's take a look here. Impale compared to Shatter, 12,908 to 1443. Yeah, so Impale's much bigger. And then the dot damage is going to be more. But I believe Impale causes 10k, 99917 and 15381. So we got to do the math to see which one would do more. I'm still fairly certain Impale will be more damage. So Impale's the target, biggest hit that you have right here, biggest finisher, biggest damager. You want to use this guy on cooldown no matter what, essentially. All right. At level 35, that's moving up to level 39. We have some interesting choices. We have Skewering Strike, leaps to the target, impaling it for weapon damage. This should be the same weapon damage as before. Okay, so it's a little bit less, 23,685 to 25,784, and immobilizes them for 3 seconds. Okay, so it might be around the same amount of damage. The difference is that it's a root and it's a mini leap. Very useful for people. Very nice. I like this, but I think I like, let's see, these other two are these are all very tricky, right? Bleeding Offense, Impale does 1255, X amount of additional crit bleed damage when it hits, and Impale's critical hit chance is increased by 20%. Excellent. You always want your crit chance to increase, and I'll go over that later. All right. Impale deals 10% additional damage and generates 1 rage for each of your periodic bleed effects on the target it hits. This is very important too. I've been playing around with all 3 of these. I really like these 2 just because of the extra damage. This one with the extra rage, pretty much never running out of rage in PvP. All right. Then moving up to level 43, we've got Eviscerate. Impale causes the target to bleed for weapon damage over 6 seconds and beats the target down for 45 seconds. Beat down targets take 5% more damage from melee attacks. So that hasn't really changed. We've had that before, but the choices we have at level 43 are fantastic. These guys are beautiful. Blood Rights. This is going to be huge for PvEers. I think this is a no-brainer in this stash. Go for this as a PvEer. Blood Rage no longer generates rage. Instead, activating Blood Rage grants Blood Rights, increasing the critical hit chance of all your periodic bleed effects by 50%, and generates 1 rage each time you critically hit with an internal bleed effect for 20 seconds. So I like this. It's a little confusing to read. Generates 1 rage each time you critically hit with an internal bleed effect for 20 seconds. Does that mean... Yeah. Okay. But this is fantastic. Increasing your crit chance by 50% is awesome. I had this for PvP. I don't recommend it for PvP because of the next one right here. It uses up all your rage, which is actually really nice from if you have Bleeding Pommel. So if you go over to Bloodbound, the next guy, critically hitting with a bleed effect reduces the cooldown of your Blood Rage by 1 second. Blood Rage purges movement impairing effects and heals you for 2% of your max health each bleed effect it triggers, up to 20%. So this is like a mini heal. 20% right now can be helpful, but it can also be nothing as well. So it's fantastic for PvP. You need it for the purge, the movement impairing purges. You need that mobility. So I initially did a few games with Blood Rights, and then I switched over to Bloodbound just because I really like the ability to break my roots. Again, mobility is key in PvP. So I'm going to stick with Bloodbound. Then we have Furious Power, which was our Onslaught, a new ability. I'm good. Let's read it. Furious Power consumes all ability charges of Furious Power and applies Furious Power stacks to you. Each stack increases your next direct single target melee attack by 25%, and it consumes whenever you deal damage with these attacks. Recharges 1 ability charge every 30 seconds. Honestly, I'm not too sure if you're going to want to take Furious Power over either one of these 2. I'm going to leave that up to other theory crafters to figure that out. I just kind of play the class. I've really only done PvP, and I don't see a reason to take Furious Power over mobility right now. All right, then we have Hugh at level 47, hurls the main hand of the lightsaber at a target, dealing X amount of weapon damage and slowing its movement speed by 50% for 3 seconds. We no longer have a root on our saber throw, by the way. I do not believe our saber throw is a root anymore. Let's go see. So throws the main hand lightsaber at a distance target, inflicting weapon damage, and builds 3 rage. Sunders the targets. Sundered targets take 45%. So yeah, 45 seconds take 20% damage. So we don't have our sundering, or not our sundering, our root on our saber throw anymore. Feels bad. But then we still have Brawn moving up. 51 force charge grants Brawn, providing immunity to interrupt, stuns, knockbacks, and incapacitating effects for 4 seconds. Additionally, during this time, damage reduction increased by 20%. So your leap is still a mini defensive cooldown. Always leap if you can. With that being said, I would take Warmonger for PvP. For PvE, I might look into Unyielding or Warmonger as well. I don't. The 51 choice is kind of meh. I really don't know if I like extended roar just because of the damage reduction by more than 10 meters. But Unyielding, you generate 4 rage when stunned, immobilized, put to sleep, or knocked around. I mean, you're already getting so many other things for rage. I'm not sure if you need it for PvP. Warmonger, getting attacked reduces the attack active cooldown of force charge by 1 second. This effect cannot occur more than 1.5 seconds. Love it. It's probably one of my choices for PvP. All right. Next up, we have extended roar increases the range of force scream to 30 meters, but force scream deals reduced damage beyond 10 meters. Additionally, force push deals 20% more damage and grants extended roar, allowing your next force scream to deal full damage regardless of the distance from its target. Yeah, okay. Then we move on to level 60. Savagery, Shatter, Impale, Hew, and Vengeful Slam increase the critical chance of your next force scream by 50%. Last 15 seconds, stacks up to 2 times. There's our passive. All right, nothing new there. Vengeful Slam is when we get our awesome animation for that at level 60. Slams your weapon on the ground, causing a force-empowered shockwave that deals weapon or energy damage up to 8 enemies within 5 meters, stuns weak standard enemies for 3 seconds, and replaces our smash. Vengeful Slam. All right, moving on to level 64. This one's a little bit of a tough one. It looks like I have hardened defense up, but it's really tough for me to figure out which of those 3 I'd like. Payback, reduce the cooldown of Unleash by 30 seconds and causes Unleash to heal you for 10% of your maximum health. When used, that can still be useful. Hardened defense, all AoE damage is reduced by 60% for 15 seconds after Threatening Scream is active. I used both of these in PvP. This hardened defense definitely for PvE. And so I'm a little torn there. Then we have War Master. Force charge grants Unstoppable, granting immunity to movement impairing effects, and that push or pull you around for 4 seconds. In addition, force charge enables your next vicious throw here to be used against your target with any percentage of health. That's really cool. I think they combined something else with it. These were 2 different utilities that are combined. Play around with these. I might go with this guy for payback for PvP. I really enjoyed having it. This guy was 2 combined into 1. The force charge Hew for PvE is huge, but I mean that's part of your opener. But you might have to go with hardened defense to stay alive because you need those defensive abilities. So up to you guys. Then we have Destroyer, level 68. Increases the damage dealt by your bleeding effects by 15%. In addition, your Ravage, Bleed damage, and Bleed damage have a 30% chance to trigger Destroyer. When finishes the cooldown on Hew and makes your next Hew consume no rage and usable on a target with any health level. This effect cannot occur more than once every 20 seconds. That really hasn't changed. Then we have the infamous level 68 choices. Mad Dash, Intimidating Roar, and Saber Reflect. All right. Hate these choices. I love all 3 of these abilities. I definitely still try to use 2 of these abilities, even though I don't have them, because I can only pick 1 out of the 3. All right. So Mad Dash forwards 20 meters, dealing weapon damage to enemies in your path and increasing your defense by 100%, while dashing can be used while immobilized and purges movement impairing effects when activated. Then we have Intimidating Roar, paralyzes up to 8 nearby enemies in fear, preventing all actions for up to 6 seconds. Damage ends the effect prematurely. And then Saber Reflect reflects all direct single target range, force, and tech attacks back to the attacker for 5 seconds. This damage done by each reflect is capped, and the cap rises with each new rank of the ability. All right. So of these 3 abilities, I would say probably you want Saber Reflect for PvE, But again, mobility is key in PvP. So I'm actually picked Mad Dash out of the three. But hopefully some other theory crafters will come in and debunk me and say, Kogus, you are not smart. Pick a different one. And therefore, I'll be like, thank you. Moving up to level 73, we have Gushing Veins. Increases the critical chance of Shatter, Vengeful Slam, and Bleed effects by 10%. Perfect. And then we have our 73 choice, Through Passion, Crushing Fist, or Pooled Hatred. Through Passion reduces the cooldown of Enraged defense by 30 seconds. Very useful. Then we have Crushing Fist for the Immortal Discipline. Smash slows the target its damage by 60% for 10 seconds. For the Vengeance and Rage Discipline, Smash and Vengeful Slam sunder the target. They damage for 45 seconds. Sunder targets have their armor rating decreased by 20%. And then we have Pooled Hatred. Whenever your movement is impaired, you gain a 10% damage bonus to your next ability that consumes rage. This effect stacks up to 5 times and lasts 15 seconds. So before the expansion, Through Passion would have probably been the choice. Unfortunately, Grit Teeth has been changed, so Grit Teeth no longer affects Enraged defense. Grit Teeth affects Saber Ward. With that being said, and with that effect being there, might be better off skipping over Through Passion and having that Enraged defense be a 2-minute cooldown instead of a 45-second cooldown. That's huge. But I would kind of play around with these three. I can't decide right now. I think I've been playing with Pooled Hatred. So we'll see. And then we have Bloodmaster. For each of your bleed effects active on an enemy target, you deal 5% more bleed up to a maximum 15% more bleed damage, while Shatter, Draining Stream, and Eviscerate are each bleeding a target. So very useful. I am finding the Juggernaut very strong. So I'm going with a very different rotation than what I did before. And I'll go over that in another video. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and say a PvP build and maybe make a short so that you guys can skip all the other stuff for it. But here we go. Level 23, pick Major Fracture, increasing the internal. And then you're going to go at 27, Projected Scream. Level 39, I go for Bleeding Pommel. Level 43, that is Bloodbound. Level 51, I go with Warmonger. Level 64 is free choice. Payback. I mean, it's really free choice, whichever one you want. 68, Mad Dash, 100%. And then 73, Pooled Hatred. All right, that's it for this, guys. I know it was a long video. Very useful, though. Lots of information. Hope you guys are enjoying the Legacy of the Sith expansion for Star Wars The Old Republic. We're going to be coming at you with more videos. Till then, we'll catch you guys next time.